I need the Barrett 50. The room exploded with laughter. A tiny woman asking for a sniper rifle? Ridiculous. 12 elite soldiers mocked her like she was a joke. But when she rolled up her sleeve and revealed the scar, the laughter died. The commander whispered one word, Black Talon. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. I need the Barrett 50. Those 5 words echoed across the briefing room like a bomb going off in church. The laughter started immediately. Sharp, cutting, cruel laughter that bounced off the concrete walls and slapped her in the face. 12 men, each one a trained killer, each one chosen from thousands, stood there pointing at her like she just asked for a unicorn. A woman barely 5'3", drowning in a maintenance uniform 2 sizes too big, oil stains on her hands, dirt under her fingernails. She looked like she belonged in a garage, not a war room. Collins laughed the hardest. Big guy, arms like tree trunks, 3 tours under his belt. He doubled over, actually slapping his knee. You want a Barrett? Sweetheart, that rifle weighs 30 pounds. You probably can't even lift it. The others joined in. Someone made a joke about her needing a step ladder just to see through the scope. Another one said they should give her a BB gun instead, maybe that'd be more her speed. She just stood there, hands at her sides, face blank as stone, waiting for them to finish. She'd heard worse. She'd survived worse. The mission briefing had been simple enough. Hostage situation 200 miles into enemy territory. 4 American contractors taken 3 days ago. Intel said they were being held in a fortified compound, guards everywhere, walls 12 feet high, the whole place designed to keep people out or keep people in, depending on which side of the wall you were on. Command wanted a full extraction team. Fast in, fast out. Minimal casualties. The problem was the terrain. Open desert for miles, no cover, no concealment, just sand and rocks and death waiting for anyone stupid enough to walk out there without a plan. Lieutenant Harris stood at the front of the room, arms crossed, looking tired. He'd been running ops like this for 15 years and the lines on his face showed every single one of them. Alright people, listen up. We go in at 0300 tomorrow. 2 Black Hawks, fast insertion, 12 minutes on the ground maximum. Questions? That's when she'd raised her hand. Small hand, delicate, almost the kind of hand you'd expect to see holding a pen, not a weapon. Harris looked at her like he'd forgotten she was even there. Monroe, right? You're the armory tech? She nodded. What do you need? I want to go with you. I need the Barrett 50. The room exploded. Harris held up a hand but the damage was done. The men were already talking over each other, throwing out jokes, making bets on whether she could even chamber a round without help. Martinez, the squad leader, shook his head. Monroe, with all due respect, you fix our guns. You don't fire them. There's a difference. Stay here, keep the equipment running, let us handle the shooting part. She didn't move. Didn't argue. Just stood there with that same blank expression, like she was waiting for a bus that was running late. But then something shifted. The door at the back of the room opened and everyone went quiet. Not the kind of quiet where people are thinking, the kind of quiet where people are holding their breath. Commander Blackwood walked in. Tall man, gray hair cut military short, shoulders straight as a rifle barrel, eyes that had seen things nobody should have to see. He'd been in the game longer than anyone, survived operations that were still classified, made decisions that saved lives and cost lives in equal measure. When he walked into a room you paid attention. When he spoke you listened. He stopped just inside the door, scanning the room with those cold gray eyes. His gaze landed on her. Monroe. Step forward. She moved without hesitation, boots clicking on the concrete floor, every step measured and precise. She stopped 3 feet in front of him, stood at attention, eyes forward. The room was so quiet you could hear the air conditioning humming in the vents. Blackwood looked at her for a long moment, studying her face, her posture, her hands. Then he did something nobody expected. He smiled. Not a friendly smile. Something else. Something dangerous. Show them your arm. It wasn't a request. She rolled up her left sleeve, slow and deliberate, revealing skin that told a story most people would never understand. There was a scar there. Not the kind you get from an accident or a surgery. This was intentional. A perfect circle, maybe 2 inches across, burned deep into the flesh. Inside the circle, a symbol. Black ink, permanent, unmistakable. A talon. Sharp and curved and cruel looking. Below it, numbers. 01. The room went from quiet to dead silent. Martinez was the first to break. He took a step back, actually stumbled a little like someone had pushed him. Holy hell. Black Talon? That's impossible. They're all dead. Collins stopped laughing. Harris straightened up, face going pale. Even the guys in the back who'd been smirking and making jokes suddenly looked like they'd seen a ghost. Because in a way they had. Black Talon wasn't just a unit. It was a legend. A horror story. The kind of thing people whispered about in classified briefings and then pretended they never heard. Commander Blackwood turned to face the room, hands behind his back, voice calm and level. For those of you who don't know, and clearly most of you don't, Black Talon was a program. 18 months of operation. 12 members total. Their job was simple. Handle the situations nobody else could handle. The missions that didn't exist on paper. The targets that couldn't be touched through official channels. They operated in complete darkness. No support, no backup, no recognition. They went in alone and they got the job done. Every single time. He paused, letting that sink in. Then came Operation Thornfield. 6 years ago. Deep cover infiltration, 3 months in enemy territory. Target was a weapons dealer supplying half the terrorist networks in the Middle East. Black Talon got close. Real close. Close enough to take him down. But someone leaked the operation. Someone on our side. The team walked into an ambush. 11 members went in. Only one came out. He looked at her. Monroe here was 17 years old when they recruited her. Youngest member in the program's history. Weapons specialist. Could field strip and reassemble any firearm in the world blindfolded. Could make a kill shot at distances most trained snipers wouldn't even attempt. The room was frozen. Every man standing there had just realized they'd been laughing at someone who'd done things they couldn't imagine. Someone who'd survived things that killed 11 other highly trained operators. Someone who'd earned that scar by walking through hell and coming out the other side. Martinez cleared his throat, face red with embarrassment. "Sir, I apologize. I didn't know." Blackwood cut him off with a look. "Of course you didn't know. That's the point." After Thornfield, Monroe disappeared. Off the grid. New identity. The program was shut down, all records sealed. She's been working in our armory for 3 years and nobody had a clue who she really was. Until now. He turned back to her. "Why do you want the Barrett?" She met his eyes, no fear, no hesitation. "Because the compound has a guard tower. Elevated position 150 yards from the main building. Reinforced concrete, ballistic glass, mounted machine gun. Your team goes in through the front, that guard opens fire, you lose half your people in the first 30 seconds. Take out the tower, you have a clean approach." Blackwood nodded slowly. "And you can make that shot? In the dark? Under pressure? With everything on the line?" She didn't blink. "Sir, I've made harder shots in worse conditions." The commander walked to the front of the room, pulled up the tactical map on the screen. "Show me." She moved to the display, pointing at the terrain. "Main compound here. Guard tower northwest corner. Distance from optimal shooting position is 1,400 meters. Wind coming from the east at approximately 12 knots. Temperature drop after midnight means air density increases, bullet trajectory adjusts. One shot, center mass on the guard, tower goes dark, your team has a 60-second window before anyone inside realizes what happened." She traced the route with her finger. "Helicopter drops me here, I move to position, set up, wait for your signal, take the shot, exfil on foot to secondary pickup zone." Martinez was staring at her like he'd never seen her before. "That's a mile shot. In the dark. That's impossible." She turned to look at him, and for the first time since the briefing started, she smiled. Just a small smile, cold as winter. "Nothing about what I do is impossible. It's just hard. There's a difference." Blackwood pulled a radio from his belt. "Armory, this is Blackwood. I need you to bring something to briefing room 3. Authorization code Black 77. Boss. Yes, that one. Bring it now." 5 minutes later, 2 men walked in carrying a case. Long, heavy, black plastic with reinforced corners and multiple locks. They set it on the table and stepped back. Blackwood entered a code on the digital lock. The case opened with a hiss of pressurized air. Inside, wrapped in foam, was a rifle. But not just any rifle. This one was different. Matte black finish, extended barrel, custom stock, scope that looked like it cost more than a car. Etched into the receiver, small and precise, was the same symbol from her arm. A Black Talon. "This is a custom build. One of 12 made specifically for the Black Talon program. Each one unique, tailored to the operator. This one is yours, Monroe. We kept it in storage after the program ended. Nobody's touched it in 6 years." He lifted it from the case, checked the action, looked through the scope, then handed it to her. She took it like she was greeting an old friend. The weight settled into her hands perfectly. Her fingers found the trigger guard without looking. She brought it to her shoulder, checked the sight alignment, worked the bolt. Smooth. Familiar. Home. Collins watched her handle the weapon and something changed in his face. The mockery was gone, replaced by something else. Respect maybe. Or fear. Probably both. He stepped forward, cleared his throat. Monroe. I owe you an apology. We all do. She lowered the rifle, looked at him. You don't owe me anything. You didn't know. But now you do. So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, 0300 I'm going with you. I'll be in position before you hit the compound. When Lieutenant Harris gives the signal, I take the shot. The tower goes dark. You move in. You get our people out. We all go home. Harris looked at Blackwood. Sir, are you authorizing this? The commander nodded. She's right about the tower. It's the biggest threat to the operation. We go in without neutralizing that position, we're asking for casualties. Monroe has the skills and the equipment. She goes. That's final. Martinez stepped up. Then I want her on comms. Direct link to my channel. Anything goes wrong, anything at all, I want to know immediately. She nodded. Understood. Collins raised a hand. One question. How many shots do you need? She was checking the magazine, counting rounds. One. I only need one. The night was cold. Desert cold, the kind that gets into your bones and stays there. She lay on a ridge overlooking the compound, the rifle steady on its bipod, scope dialed in, breathing slow and controlled. Below her, maybe a quarter-mile away, the compound sat like a fortress in the darkness. Lights on in the guard tower. She could see the guard moving around, pacing back and forth, probably bored, probably thinking about home, probably never imagining that 1,000 meters away someone was watching him through a scope worth $50,000. Her radio crackled. Monroe, this is Harris. Team is in position. 5 minutes to go time. How's your position? She keyed the mic solid. Wind is steady. Temperature stable. Target is mobile but predictable. I have the shot. There was a pause. Copy that. On my mark, you are cleared to engage. She didn't respond, just clicked the mic twice. Professional courtesy. No need for extra words when everyone knows the job. She settled in, cheek against the stock, eye to the scope, finger resting alongside the trigger guard. Not on the trigger. Not yet. That comes later. 4 minutes. She watched the guard stop at the window, light a cigarette. Amateur mistake. The flame ruined his night vision, made him a perfect target. 3 minutes. She checked the wind again. A slight shift, maybe half a knot. Not enough to matter at this range, but she adjusted anyway. Precision isn't about the big things. It's about the little things. The details nobody else notices. 2 minutes. Her breathing slowed even more. Heart rate down. Muscles relaxed. The rifle became an extension of her body, the scope an extension of her eye. She wasn't aiming at the target anymore. She was part of the shot itself. 1 minute. Harris came back on the radio. All teams ready. Monroe, stand by. She found the trigger now, finger curling around it gently. Just enough pressure to feel the resistance. The guard moved to the center of the tower, stood there looking out over the desert, probably thinking he was safe, probably thinking nobody could touch him way up there. He was wrong. 30 seconds. She could hear the helicopters in the distance now. Faint sound getting closer. The guard heard them too. He turned, reached for the radio on his belt. Too late. Execute, execute, execute. Harris's voice was calm, matter-of-fact, like he was ordering coffee. She exhaled slowly, squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked against her shoulder. The sound was massive, a crack that echoed across the desert like thunder. Through the scope she saw the result. The guard dropped. Clean shot. Center mass. He was gone before he hit the floor. The tower went dark. She worked the bolt, chambered another round just in case, but she knew she wouldn't need it. 1 shot. That's all it ever took. Monroe, confirm. Target down. Tower secure. She kept the scope on the compound, watching the doors. Movement. Confusion. People running. The Black Hawks came in fast and low, touching down just long enough for Harris and his team to jump out. They hit the doors with breaching charges. Flashbangs. Smoke. The whole compound lit up like daylight. She counted seconds in her head. 12. 15. 20. Gunfire now. Short controlled bursts. Professional. 30 seconds. More movement. 45. The front door opened and she saw them. 4 civilians, hands on their heads, being pushed out by Harris's team. The hostages. Mission accomplished. 60 seconds. The team fell back, loaded everyone into the helicopters. 75. The Black Hawks lifted off, banking hard to the east. 90 seconds. They were gone. She stayed in position another 10 minutes, watching the compound, making sure nobody followed, making sure the extraction was clean. When she was satisfied, she broke down the rifle, packed it in the case, and started the long walk to her pickup point. 3 miles through the desert in the dark. No problem. She'd walked farther before. The debriefing was short. Harris stood in front of the team, looking tired but satisfied. 4 hostages recovered. 0 casualties on our side. Enemy casualties minimal. Operation was a complete success. He looked around the room. That guard tower would have chewed us up. Monroe's shot saved lives tonight. Probably saved the mission. I don't care what anyone thought yesterday. She earned her place on this team. Collins stood up. Damn right she did. The others nodded. Martinez raised his coffee cup in a salute. To Monroe. The room echoed it. To Monroe. But she wasn't there to hear it. By the time the team got back to base, she was already gone. Rifle back in the armory. Gear stowed. Uniform changed. She walked out the same way she'd walked in 3 years ago. Quietly. Without fanfare. Nobody noticed her leave. That was how she liked it. Commander Blackwood found her at the gate. She was carrying a small bag, civilian clothes, heading for a taxi. He called her name. She stopped, turned around. You did good work out there. She shrugged. Just did my job, sir. He looked at her for a long moment. You could stay. Work with the teams. We could use someone with your skills. She smiled that same cold smile. No thanks, Commander. I spent 18 months doing that kind of work. Lost 11 friends. Almost lost myself. I'm done with that life. He nodded slowly. I understand. But if things ever get bad again, if we need you again, can we call? She started walking toward the taxi. You can call. Doesn't mean I'll answer. 3 months later, a package arrived at Commander Blackwood's office. No return address. No note. Just a newspaper clipping. Small article from an international paper. A weapons dealer had been found dead in his compound overseas. Single gunshot. Long range. Police were investigating but had no leads. Blackwood read the article twice, then burned it. He never told anyone about it. Some things are better left unknown. Some people are better left to work in the shadows. And somewhere out there, in some other armory, some other base, some other forgotten corner of the military machine, she was probably wiping down rifles, checking equipment, being ignored by people who had no idea who she really was. Maybe she liked it that way. Maybe she'd earned the right to disappear. Or maybe she was just waiting. Waiting for the next time someone needed a shot nobody else could make. Waiting for the next impossible mission. Waiting to prove one more time that the quiet ones, the forgotten ones, the ones everyone laughs at, are sometimes the most dangerous people in the room. They laughed when she asked for a Barrett 50. Nobody was laughing now.